Greetings,
So,
book lovers everywhere, and welcome to E-Train Talks. I'm your host, E-Train. I'm a 13-year-old literacy advocate, podcast host, booktuber, and speaking of booktubers, this is the legend. I have a legend right here. Woo! Alright, so I absolutely love the work that my guest does. She is the master of reading aloud stories. She invented reading stories on YouTube. And she's a phenomenal Emmy-winning storyteller. And speaking of storyteller, this is Storyteller! Woo!
hey, Trent, it is amazing to be here with you finally. We've been following each other on the socials since like forever.
Yeah.
And I know all the good stuff that you've been doing. And I feel very honored to be invited to be here with you today and with everybody watching. So, hey, everybody.
Yeah, I'm so honored that you took time out of your day to talk with me. And so let's just jump right into the questions.
Do it. I'm ready. You're ready?
Ooh, yeah.
We're pro.
Yeah. So you're known as the original Read Aloud channel. And it's just so cool that you revolutionized a whole genre on YouTube. I've seen so many picture book read alouds and read aloud channels, but you were the first. You started it all. And so, how long did you have the idea of reading aloud picture books on YouTube before you started? And what was it that kind of sparked the idea in the first place?
Well, um, when we got the idea, I don't remember that we took a long time to start. And when I say we, it's me,
Mhm,
obviously storyteller, and my off-screen technical genius. And for our kid time story timers, they know that off-screen technical genius is exactly that. The wizard who is behind the scenes, making special effects, doing cool things. But back when we started, it was a much smaller and less
mhm,
technical operation. It was just an idea that was born in New York City when we were living there, now in LA.
mhm.
But back then, we were just in this tiny apartment and we were spending a lot of time with our nephews. They were going through a rough patch in their family and they were spending a lot of extra time with us. And they were 5 and 8 at the time, and they just became completely different children with all the troubles of the world and all their tough facade of being New York, New Jersey kids fading away when I would begin to tell them stories at bedtime. And at the time, kid, I didn't have all of this, So I would actually make up stories about dragons and about heroes. And seeing the effect that it had on them was really powerful.
Mhm.
So when they went back to spend more time at home and it was time for school and things like that, I decided to start reading books to them via YouTube so that they could still get their stories. And
I
of
love
course,
that.
now I needed a real storybook. So I would get a storybook and I would read it. And I made it public because I just thought you never know, there might be other kids like my nephews who needed that kind of story to be
Mhm.
told to them at night. And that's how it started. It was a very humble, very simple thing. There was no big plan. There was no research done. I didn't I didn't look out there to see what other YouTubers were doing or anything like that at all. Because it's easy to look at us now that we're so big and we are the most watched channel and we've innovated so many things in the field. It's easy to look now and think, "Oh, they had a plan and they had a business plan. And this is what they did." And none of the above. There was no business plan, there was no aim, there was no goal to I mean, everybody wants to be successful, don't get me wrong. We wanted we wanted our boys to be happy and that if some other kids were happy, great. But what we are now, this has just grown this way because it was all just founded really on a foundation of love and wanting to do good. And as individuals, always wanting to be a little bit better and a little bit better. So as we learned, just like you, I'm sure that your first podcast is very different from this one.
Yeah.
You keep learning, you keep growing,
Yeah.
and and you get smoother, and you know what works better and what's more entertaining and what's more important to your audience, you know? And
Mhm.
that's what we did. We just kept learning and growing and pouring more effort and time as we could into it. And now we are what we are today because of it.
I love that. And I know, like you said, you hoped that so many, like, there were other kids out there who needed the storybook love, and there have been, and there will continue to be, and you're just revolutionizing it and changing some kids' lives. I love that.
I love that too. And I love hearing from kids too, because I hear from them all the time now, kid. I mean, now since we've been around for going on 9 years now, which is
Wow.
incredible for me to think about. Yeah, I guess next year's our 10th year anniversary. We should have like a big party or something, because we'll be in the double digits.
Yeah.
Um, but to get to this point now means that there are kids who are now writing into us on the channel, writing into me. I'm the one who responds to everyone and saying, "Oh, I grew up with you," and that's just mind blowing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so, as you mentioned, you read picture books, and with your popularity, it must be kind of overwhelming in a sense. You must receive a lot of social media messages or emails or submissions from authors, publicists, and even publishers asking if you could read aloud their book on your channel. And you can't read everything. So, how do you decide which stories are right and perfect to share and which aren't?
You know, it's funny. It's sort of a blended combination of what I like, you know,
Yeah.
and what I know my audience likes.
Hmm.
Because after doing it for this long, you just know. There are things you just know. Have you ever heard that phrase, that saying, that philosophy that if you do anything for what is it, 1,000 hours or is it 10,000 hours? It's one of those figures. If you do that, if you do anything for, let's say 1,000, I'm going to pick a number, 1,000 hours, you become an expert at it. Have you ever heard that?
I haven't.
That's a thing. And
Yeah.
you're going to look it up. And you're going to be like, the storyteller was wrong with 10,000 hours. I'm going off my memory now. But um, the reason I mention that is because you just know things because you've done them so much. And I personally, are you going to look it up for me? I really appreciate that.
Uh,
Uh,
it's 10,000 hours.
10,000. Thank you. Needed to tell the audience the correct amount of
Yeah,
information.
no misinformation.
Yes, no misinformation here. And it's true. It's true. You do anything that much and you just know things. Just, you don't even have to think about it. It's
Yeah.
instant. So I know what they want. There's a third factor, which is, have I already done a story that's very similar to it?
Mm,
You know, because that's a real thing. Because if I have done recently, for example, if I've done a bunch of stories about friendship and I get another story about friendship and it's perfectly fine, but it's too much like the ones I've already done and it
mhm.
doesn't bring something new to my people, it's gonna take a back seat and it may not come to the front again. It might not. It's a timing thing as well. You know, it's a lot of magical factors that go into it. But if it's something that I've never seen before, that's very unique, very fresh, I love humor, things like that, I will definitely do it. Otherwise, I have to sort of space out my themes because I don't want to hit kids with the same kind of thing over and over again. It needs to stay interesting. There's way too much stuff out there to be reading um, very, very similar books
Mhm.
back.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and, I mean, there are so many beautiful picture books out there. You gotta like, you can't just do the same thing over and over. You gotta love and show the love for every single one.
And you know how many picture books there are in the world. I mean, you have a very humble stack next to you. You
Yeah.
don't even know this, but I have a stack of books under my computer. I have a bunch of books that just arrived that are on my dining room table. There's just so many. So I just have to make very tough choices.
Right.
Uh, yeah, because I wish I could read everything. I really do, but I have not been cloned yet. So
Pretty soon. Maybe 2040, 2030.
yeah. Oh, yeah. By then, yes, yes, and then we can get this version. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have Kid Time Storytime 1, Kid Time Storytime 2,
3.0,
all of them.
3.0.
Yeah.
One of them will have pink hair.
Yeah. So, what I love one of the things that I love the most about Kid Time Storytime is all of the amazing, the smart, the full of personality puppets that you have. And they
Oh my
help us read the stories. They
oh,
all are so
personality.
unique, so perfect, and they go on amazing reading adventures with you. Just
Yes,
we're just in Hawaii. We went
yes.
to the stars on the in LA.
The Walk of
A
Fame.
Walk of Fame, yeah.
Mhm.
So who was the first stuffy friend to join Kid Time Storytime, and have you always had them along the journey?
Oh, well, as a matter of fact, I know that you only planned to talk to me, but,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
once word got out, there's no way. Isn't it
Hi.
Hey, E-Train, what's up? It's me, Green Bear.
Hi, Green Bear.
I like your bow tie.
I like yours.
Thanks. I guess we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Bow ties and books. Oh,
Yep,
that sounds like a good name for a future store. Maybe we
that
should think of
does.
that when we grow up.
Yeah, definitely. I'll call
Okay,
you about it.
okay, sounds good. You know where to find me. Okay, so I just want to answer this question for Storyteller, okay? Okay,
Okay.
go Green Bear. Okay, so I have been here the whole time. I've been with Storyteller since the very beginning. And when she said decided to start reading books, I jumped off the shelf and I said, you know what this book reading needs? Me! So then I joined in and then now I'm her favorite. Wait. I did not say anything
Whoa.
about you being my favorite. They always do this. They all want to be the favorite, but you know what I always say. Yeah, you love us all the same, but different because we're all different. So you love us in different ways, but you love us equally. I still want to be the favorite. I know you still want to be the favorite. Um, so that's how that goes.
Yeah.
Oh no. Everybody knows that I am the favorite. Which said. Don't you have any questions for me, or are you
I
bored?
have I have I have questions for you. I have questions for you.
Because I frequently people just stare because they can't get over my incredible beauty.
That's definitely why, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my question for you is who do you think well, you kind of mentioned it already, but why do you think you should be the favorite puppet?
I mean, isn't it obvious? First of all, look at my horns. 3 horns. Look at that. They spell with Jefferson. And have you ever seen 3 horns as gorgeous as mine? No, you have not. And then
It's true.
also my beauty and then my eye. You see how my eyebrow is raised as if to
Mhm.
say, I don't believe you.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yes,
You're
yes,
putting up a pretty good case.
yes. And also because of my patented bat stew recipe, soon to be marketed all over the world. Okay. Nobody is buying your bat stew. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So you had okay. You know, I'm in the middle of a thing here. So anyway, what were you at? Okay. Hopefully, she's now gone back to her bat cave.
Mhm.
So where were we? Sorry about that. They tend to do a whole puppet takeover.
Ah! Yeah, so kind of still on the topic of puppets, and I know you guys love to hear about yourself, because you guys are awesome. So, I discovered that you share personalized video gifts, autographs, merchandise, and you even have a storytime book series. So, what point did you kind of realize, wow, I could actually not necessarily market this, but kind of share the love in other ways with kids?
I love
And
how you put that because that's exactly how we think of it. Because really, for us, we're always creating, thinking, writing. We were doing that yesterday. We thought of something last minute, boom, put it together. Because we work very fast. And that's one of the things I love about being a YouTuber is that you think it, you do it, boom, you can put
yeah,
it up. There's like no obstacles. I love that, being able to just have that creative expression right away and be able to, share that with the audience, our kid time story timers right away. Now, as far as the other stuff, that came about sort of like by demand. The video gifts were basically so many parents wanting us to record special messages for their kids, for their kids time story timers.
Mhm.
Could be for good grades or a birthday, or they needed encouragement for something, and we wanted to be able to do this, but it's very time consuming to do these things.
Yeah.
So we decided, okay, this is the demand, you know so we ended up creating these video selfies where I can send a special message, and then I can spend time, and I can really, it's not a lot, because I don't we don't like to, uh, E-Train, I don't like to charge people for things.
Yeah.
Parents get charged a lot for things, but there's also a big time factor for us and being able to do these things. So it's a small fee, but then, I can set aside time to do that. And then things like the merchandise came about because I needed some stuff to wear at public appearances,
Yeah.
so that people could easily go, "Oh, there's Kid Time Story Time," and see us from afar. And so once we, meaning technical genius, not me,
Mhm.
once we had to design something, then then we're like, okay, we had to design it through the store. Hey, let's put it up there. Sort of like the same thing as, oh, we're reading to our nephews, let's put it up there. It's the same idea. Well, we
Yeah.
t-shirt for ourselves, let's put it up there in case. And kids loved it because, it just makes sense. You wanna be you're part of the family, so you wanna wear your stuff with pride, like you wear, a team shirt or
Mhm.
something, some band that you like or cartoon character that you like, and it was like that. So everything has just been very naturally growing, and we just don't have enough time to design all the things. Again, it's just 2 of us, but we're designing and
Mhm.
reading and creating as fast as we can. So that was all those things that we offer, all those gifts and all that merchandise that you see was just an outgrowth of the love that kid time story timers have, and wanting to, have that pride and wear that. And it's just so, so, so incredibly cool to be able to connect with our
Yeah.
kids timers that way, and to see their their grown-ups send in pictures of them wearing something that they got, and it was a special thing. It's just incredible.
Yeah, that must be the best feeling in the world.
It really is.
So my next question for you
Mhm.
is it's probably a tough one. So out of all the picture books you've had the chance to read aloud on your channel, is there one in particular that you feel is the most cherished or treasured in your heart? Or if that's too difficult to answer, maybe what read aloud video that you've shared is the one that kind of sticks with you?
Um, Yeah, that's a really tough one. I have found so often that as a grown up, you read a book at just the right time,
Mm, yeah,
like at the right moment with the message that you needed, and it makes a deep impact. And then fast forward months, years, and then you read another book that does the same thing to you. It's like these little golden nuggets that get left for us along the way. So
yeah,
you don't have one favorite, but you have books that etch themselves into you because they made that impact, and that happens to you from childhood on. I
mhm.
have a book. Is it accessible? I don't know if it is right now. I have so many, as you know. I have it somewhere. Oh yeah, it's up there, but there's a bunch of stuff in front of it. I have the original elementary school poetry book from
Oh,
my elementary school that I fell in love with.
awesome.
It was a book that I checked out, and when I was a kid, you checked out, and they actually literally put the date on the book.
Mhm.
Like now it's considered vintage or old fashioned to see the stamps. And
Oh,
how my elementary school was, they would stamp it with when it was checked out and your name written on it. And nobody had checked this book out for years. And I kept checking it out over and over and over. And it's a magic carpet treasury of poems.
that's
And
amazing.
Yeah, and so when one day my little brother was going to school now there, and I
Mhm.
was bigger, and I saw the library was having a book sale. I go,
Ooh.
"Look," and they were selling my book. So I bought my book. So this is why I have my book. So it's a magic carpet treasury of poems that is my personal. But then I remember reading on the channel a book called The Scarecrow that
Mhm.
just was like boom, boom. And then I have I love A Twisted Fairy Tale so much because I
Oh,
love
yeah.
the wit and the creativity of taking a classic story and making it fresh and funny and still with all the important lessons that are in it. There's a lot that I love out there. And I do have a playlist on my channel called Storyteller's Favorites, that for
Oh,
whatever reason those made some kind of a special impact in a way. So that's a shortcut to finding the stuff that really spoke to me in that moment.
everybody, this question is a question and a congratulations. So
Oh,
first of all, it's time to cue the round of applause. You were waiting for it. It's here. Round of applause.
oh,
Yeah, woo! Storyteller, woo! So, Kit Time Storytime has had the honor of winning 3 Emmy Awards. That's incredible.
yes.
And, like, what is all this recognition that you've received from parents, children, the Emmy committees, everybody? Just what does that mean to you?
Well, it tells me that I am on the right path.
Mhm,
You don't you don't do what you do as a storyteller thinking that you're going to get things like that come your way, but when they do, you feel so, you feel so gratified
mhm,
and you feel like you are on the right path,
yeah,
because there are so many paths to choose from in life and so many things that you might be interested in.
mhm,
And you really have to make hard choices as to how you're going to spend your time, where you're going to put your energy, and what your life is going to then look like as a result. And I feel like you have to choose very wisely. And when you get stuff like that and you get, the recognition and everything, it's extraordinary because you feel like, yes, it's just more gas in the tank to keep going forward. You don't sit on it too long, but it definitely inspires you and keeps things going.
I love that. And once again, congratulations. That's just amazing.
Oh,
And
congratulations to you. Can I ask you a question?
yeah,
Okay. E-Train, you asked me a very difficult question. And now I would like to ask you the same difficult question. What
ah,
is your favorite book?
that's like asking a parent what your favorite child is, who your
No
favorite child is. But
kidding.
I mean, I don't have kids, but I assume that's how it would feel.
Yeah, yes, yes, of course.
So, hmm, I think I'll give a picture book and a middle grade book. So,
Okay.
my favorite picture book, I have it right here. It's just the one that my parents read to me over and over, The Giving Tree. Yeah, it just kind of had like a pretty big impact on me. But ever since maybe I just started this, I've received a lot of picture books. Some are old that I've had since I was little, some are new, and they're all just so meaningful. And for maybe a middle grade or an upper, like, children's book, I think I would choose Starfish by Lisa Phipps. It's about, I gotta jog my brain. Mem like, remembering things is hard on the spot. So
Oh.
it's about
Welcome
yeah.
to the world of being interviewed.
So it's about this main character named Ellie, and she's fat shamed in school, and she's bullied, but she learns to kind of love herself. And I think even if you haven't gone through similar experiences as her, it kind of stands the test of experiences, stands the test of time, because we all need to kind of learn to love ourselves.
Absolutely, and we all face challenges. They don't look like the same as hers necessarily, but everybody faces a challenge. Everybody, as they are discovering themselves, because that's what growing up
Yeah,
is a process of discovering yourself and who you are, and that continues into adulthood, by the way. But that process can be incredible, exhilarating, but it
Mhm.
got to be scary because you had one idea of what you thought you were going to be, and then you are showing yourself that you are something else, and that's, and that could be scary because nobody wants to be different,
Yeah.
especially if you had this other idea. But that's the process of growing up. I read a lot of books about being different, from what you thought. One of my favorite books I ever read, and this goes back to your previous question now that I think about it. One of my favorite books I've ever read is called Ninja Boy's Secret. It's
Mm,
great, great, and so deep because picture books are deep, as you know.
they are.
It's so deep. It was this ninja boy who comes from a long line of ninjas. He's got a
Mm,
ninja dad, and on the walls of his home are pictures of ninja everybody. We're talking ninja grandma, ninja mom, ninja everything, right?
yeah.
And his secret is that he doesn't actually like being a ninja. And it's like you think, what? Being a ninja is like the coolest thing ever. He is a musician.
That's
It's
all.
his music, he loves to play the violin. It is what speaks to his soul. It's his thing. And finally, he has to tell his dad, "I'm a violinist."
Mm,
And dad just stays, uh, kind of can't tell what's going on in his face, not saying anything. So Ninja Boy pulls out the violin and starts to play. And it is the most beautiful thing when he starts to play. Because it's so beautiful when you get to show what your gift is.
mhm.
And it's the most beautiful thing. And his dad doesn't say a word and just hugs him. And from
Aw,
then on, Ninja Boy gets to be Violin Boy.
that's the
And
best story.
yeah, yeah. So what can I ask you what it is about I read The Giving Tree on the channel. What is it about it that you love besides obviously the tradition of your
Yeah.
parents reading to you?
I think what I love most about it is kind of the lesson that it teaches that I feel like the tree is kind of like a parent to the boy. The tree gives everything, everything that they have, and sometimes when you grow older, you can maybe start to neglect your family, like leave them, don't see them as often. But then eventually, like at the end, you come back, and that love never left, but it just grows deeper.
I had an interesting experience with that book.
Mm,
You know, I didn't grow up reading that book.
mm,
So I read it later on. I knew it was a famous book. And I read it later on. And of course, I read it through grown-up eyes.
yeah.
So I think it's different. So that's why I wanted to know what you thought about it. Because when I read it, I thought, hmm, I th- I think it's an allegory about taking too much and giving too much. There's a
Mm,
balance in life where
yeah.
we give and we can be uh, heavier on the giving and less on the taking. But some people could be heavier on the taking, less on the giving.
Yeah.
In this instance, and when you're a kid, you take. It's normal, you know.
Yeah.
We take. We need. We're growing up. We have all these needs, and we're used to getting the gifts, and we're used to getting everything, and being driven, and being taken care of, and everything. And you never think, oh wait, maybe the people who are giving this to me, maybe I could do something for them,
Yeah.
you know? Maybe I can give them something. So, and sometimes kids feel like they don't have anything to give, but they do.
Mhm.
It could be a handmade card, a handmade poem, a hug, time together, picking something up for a grown up, something that fell, or seeing that they're stressed and go, they need to do. I'll do that. I'll do that. Think little things like that. So I thought it was interesting, because it's such a popular book, so super popular.
Right.
Thought it was strange from my grown up eyes that the kid was just always taking from the tree till the tree had almost nothing left to give, till the tree, till the kid was a very old man now and just using the stump.
That's
On
true.
on the other hand, I see that the tree is just always has something to give. There's always something, that person who's giving to you always has something to give to you. to the very end. But I probably would have rather that the kid didn't chop down the tree
Yeah,
because
and just sit on it at the end.
for its needs.
Mhm.
At some point, how about that kid would have like maybe fertilized a tree, let it grow in the sun and give more fruit and be able to give to others. So I think it's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I am with that book. That's why I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah, it feels kinda like an unsatisfying ending. It just feels like the tree the tree just gave everything, and the boy, even in the end, I mean, like, the way it's written, it sounds like the boy is giving in the end, but in reality, I just feel like the balance, like you said, is opposite giving and then taking. Look, more giving and then less take for the tree, and more take and less give for the boy.
Yeah, so and I don't mean for you to not like your one of your top favorite books at
No.
all,
Yeah.
but I do think that there's a deep lesson in there that we can, all learn about, the nature of giving and taking.
Mhm. My whole perspective of the book is changing. Wow, like, you just opened my mind to some it's like it just expanded, like, 10 times.
Well, that's what we do when we read books. There's a lot of meaning in the books, and you have to be, um, when you're reading, to be very thoughtful about what's being said because there's a story being told,
Right.
but there's a deeper meaning under what's being told, and that's
Mhm.
where we really shine. We go a little bit deeper into the book. We're not just reading the book. We're not just having fun
Yeah.
character voices while we're reading the book. It's not about that. It's something deeper about the meaning of the book and the meaning of life and what it means to be a person and what it means to grow up and what it means to face a challenge and what it means to to stand up when you're scared and all these layers that are in the book, and that's what I really treasure is being able to not only bring these books to life and make a kid just fall in love with the book, but also take away that golden nugget that goes in here and gives them that lesson that they never ever forget about being the very best kind of person that they can grow up to be.
I love that. That that's amazing. But stories are amazing, and speaking of stories, what can we expect next from you and your book-loving puppet friends? Can you share any sneak peeks of what picture books you'll be reading next, maybe an event you'll be attending?
Let's see. What? I think I'm gonna try. I'm working it out right now. I think I'm gonna be at the LA Times Festival of Books. Last year I was on stage. This year I'm thinking about doing something smaller,
Mhm.
intimate, where kids can come out. Our Kid Time Storytimers in SoCal, Southern California can come out. Um, what else are we gonna do? We're gonna do more long form things.
Oh,
Kids who want to be able to like tune in on a Saturday morning and just be able to watch a big chunk of stuff. We're gonna work on that. We always have so many creative ideas, E-Train, so many that really it's just a matter of the Offspring Technical Genius and I yesterday had to make a list because our minds are so like with so many ideas that we had to write them down so that we could actually start knocking them out one at a time because
right.
overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed with so many different projects and things, which I'm sure happens to you because you're an ambitious kid and you've got school, but then you have this podcast and then you have the social stuff that you do and plus all the things that I don't even know I don't know. Are you in drama club? Are you in chess club?
Yeah.
Are you in science club? I mean, you could be doing all the things that a kid is doing plus this, which is so special. So, you have to make a list to keep track of all the things that you want to do. So we actually had to do that and we have more music videos planned, which was like a
Ooh.
special thing that I do, yeah, because I write songs, but that takes a lot more time.
Mhm.
So put more time into the next. I have like the next 3 songs, that I'm like, "Ah, I gotta get those out. So we're gonna do that. I'm very excited that in the coming days we're going to have a return of one of our favorite authors, Bill Cotter, with his
Ooh.
don't push the button. It's very exciting that he autographed it to Storyteller right there. The don't books. Oh man. Kids Time Story Timers love the don't books because they're all a little bit rebellious. So we are going to be bringing this new don't book. So I'm very excited about that. And, more giveaways. I try to do giveaways as much as I can, also on top of everything else, because I'm trying to share the book love as you are in your way. And I'm actually, I run out to the post office every so often and send off books to kids, whenever I can. Um, Kid, I am just limited only by the fact that I'm human and need to sleep. But otherwise, there's so much.
Who needs sleep? You know?
Apparently, humans.
Really?
It's such a pain. Right,
Yeah.
right.
You're doing so much amazing work, and I mean, that's what that inspires me, it inspires everybody that watches your videos, and, like, it's just you're balancing it all. You found that balance, and even if you have to list things, even if you are sometimes overwhelmed, you're still getting stuff out, you're still doing it, you're still doing everything.
Trying to do everything. Trying to do everything. What about you, Kate? What are your goals for your life and your future and your empire?
My empire, I love that. My goals. I think I wanna continue this as long as I can. It might be a little bit hard going into high school, college, especially just with I don't really have a ton of homework on the weekends at the moment, so it might be a tough balance, a tough task, but I hope and I think maybe as I get older, I wanna transition more from I still wanna do podcasts, but I also wanna I've been working on literacy initiatives to get books to kids in underprivileged schools, communities, and I wanna work on that a lot more as well.
Well, I could definitely see that dovetailing with high school work and college work where you could do so much volunteering.
True.
You the podcast is a funny thing. You're growing up and your audience is going to be growing up with you.
Yeah.
So, as your tastes in books change, so will theirs. So, you can move into I know you're doing middle grade now as well as the picture books. You might
Mm.
go into some of the other books. You might do it less often but still keep your foot in there. You know,
Yeah.
you never know. You
Yeah,
never know.
life is ever changing, and we just gotta change with it.
Yeah, I think that the key thing is to be open to the possibilities. You
Mhm.
know, if I had followed a very set plan from your age and stuck to it, I would not be where I am.
Yeah.
And it's because you do have to be like a river and go seeking where the opportunity, where the opening is. And it's not to say that you don't have fixed goals. Absolutely. But they just might look different
Mhm.
what you thought they would look like. I'm doing everything I ever wanted to do. It didn't look like this though. It didn't look like this, kid, because YouTube didn't exist.
That's true, yeah.
And I was a television reporter and I told stories and I loved it. And then I was on stage singing and acting and dancing and being an artist. And that was incredible. I love that too. But this is everything. This is
And
everything that I ever wanted to do to help,
mhm.
tell stories, to connect, to be creative. It's everything. But I never would have dreamt of Kid Time, Story Time, or being this big YouTuber, or of being here talking to you, or having books coming out of everywhere. Never,
Yeah.
because it just wasn't the vision. Like I told you, the technology didn't exist. I
Mhm.
had to, but by saying yes to the right opportunities along the way and being just flexible enough to try something new that wasn't originally on my plan, or so I thought, led me exactly to where I wanted to be.
I love
So that I share so that you remember when it's too busy, when it's too many things are coming up, and or something that you're trying so hard for isn't coming for you, even though you've done all the right things. But there's this other thing over here that's saying, "Hey, that might be the secret
Yeah.
path." You know.
Mhm.
So you just walk forward, have a lot of faith in what you do and in your beliefs, and you will find a way to be all that you dream of, even if it doesn't look at all like what you're doing right now.
Yeah. Just gotta follow your you don't well, no, don't follow a path, but then the path will emerge eventually.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta follow a path, and then sometimes you have to hack through the woods and find a secret path, and then
Mhm.
sometimes you have to build the path. the point
Sometimes you
is,
gotta go backwards
the
and
point is, you have to be analytical. You don't want to take crazy risks, but some risk is going to be necessary.
kinda feels like the Wizard of Oz. Like, you try to follow that yellow brick road, but it's not always there's not always gonna be a set yellow brick road. Sometimes you have to go elsewhere.
Yeah, the brick road runs out, and you're like, I'm in the middle of a field. Now what? You're not
Yeah,
to stay there and wait for somebody to build the rest of the sidewalk. You gotta go.
yeah.
Perfect analogy.
So my next question for you is one that I'm also curious about. I mean, I'm curious about all the questions, but this one especially. So for kids, teachers, librarians, caregivers, anybody who wants to be great, energetic readers like you. I mean, we all know that you have that infectious energy. We are all feeling it right now. We all love it.
Yeah,
So, what is one piece of advice that you can give for somebody who wants to kind of become a great picture book reader like you?
10,000 hours. Just, I tell my kid time story timers, you got to practice, practice, practice. And you have to just let it fly. You know,
Yeah.
don't be like to read a book now. Why don't you make a book about yourself? What a great idea. Boring. You gotta be dramatic, and you have to, give your characters in your books voices, and you have to be lively and be interested in what you're reading. That's why one of the number one parameter for me reading is that I have to like the book.
Mhm.
So, I have to really connect to it because I have to bring it to life. And I get to choose. Nobody's telling me what to read. So I get to choose. So if you're choosing what book to read, one, love it. Two, live it. Live
Yeah.
the book. It is a drama. It is a drama. Like a half-hour TV show, like your favorite movie. There's a drama in the pages. Live it. Find what the drama is and then poof, let it fly.
I love that. So now it is time for, sadly, but also interestingly, the final question of the interview. So I'm sad that it's over,
Important.
but this is a question that I have asked every single person I've ever interviewed. So no pressure.
I feel the
And
pressure.
yeah, I mean, yeah, when people say no pressure, it just means that it just brings
It
more pressure, I
it
think.
just it's extra pressure, kid. You're like,
Yeah,
"This is the last one. I've
yeah.
asked everyone.
So
No
maybe
pressure."
if I say yes pressure, maybe there's less pressure. But maybe there's a similar amount. So
Right?
anyway,
Hit me.
if you could meet or be any literary character, so you could meet your favorite book character or your favorite author, who would it be and why?
Mm, mm,
Take your time.
mm, mm. I've been very lucky, as storyteller, I've gotten to meet in person some brilliant writers. I've gotten to correspond with even more,
Mhm.
you know, and you feel honored when they know
Yeah.
you. Like, oh my gosh, so and so's writing to me. Do they not know what a big deal they are? No. So I've been very, very lucky. And I know that that will continue to happen because um, every day that I'm storyteller is another day that I get to connect with more creatives. And creativity is a funny thing. The more creative people you meet, the more it sort of spreads,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
like a good virus. Or, they're telling you, and you're like, yeah, and then blah, and, and just when I talk about the circle of inspiration, it really
Yeah,
does, it feeds, so that's exciting. So when I'm thinking about your question. Aha! So I get very lucky in that I get to meet a lot of people who are writing books right now. And I have full faith that I will continue to meet them, the ones that I already love, the ones that I have yet to get to know and love. So that's going to keep happening. But if I get that magical question where I can meet anyone from any time, any era, I would think, I can't believe I just came up with an answer like that. But I think it would be Robert Frost,
that's a great one.
poet.
Mhm. Yep.
So not a traditional children's book writer, but just the writer of poetry. And ever since I was a kid, since I was your age and younger, I love poetry. I think some people just love poetry and some people
Yeah.
don't. And I try to spread the love of poetry, but it's a tough sell sometimes,
Mhm.
to be honest. But I love that they've made some of his poems into children's
Yeah.
picture books now. It's so deep. His words paint pictures, and they are words that just sort of caress your ear and your brain, but then they have so much meaning if you start breaking it down, and they're so deep. So I guess if I could go back in time, I would love to have
Yeah.
a little cafe au lait with this guy right here, you
Yeah.
know, and hear about how his mind works and how the poetry comes. I think that for me would be pretty amazing. And all the other amazing writers, I know I'm going to get to meet them. Sooner or later, we will be having cappuccinos and macaroons.
I love that. And I think, like you said, Robert Frost's words, they do paint a picture and they just poetry fits so well with picture books because it's so expressive, it's so perfect, and of course, who doesn't love a good rhyming picture book? Or even if the poetry's not rhyming, it's just so vivid.
Yeah, the best writing, whether it rhymes or not, the best writing does paint a picture. And then you have the illustrator on top of that, creating pictures. And what I love is when the illustrator is not just capturing what's in the words, but adding something that's not in the words or
Yeah,
contradicting the words so that so the story becomes this whole thing of wait, is it what they're saying or is it what they're showing? And it just
right.
really gets your mind going. So yeah, yeah, I love all of it. It's so, as a grown up, I now know that picture books are not just for kids. They're just
Yeah,
not. They
they're
have
not.
everything, and they have everything, and they're a quicker read than grown-up books, which is nice sometimes because, when you get really busy, it's hard to read, one of your 500-page tomes,
Yeah,
So, really love it, and I'm glad you love it too and that you're spreading the love too.
yeah, and like you said, it is so nice when they're shorter adult books, they're shorter middle grade books, they're shorter every genre books, and sometimes you need a break from memoirs about Oppenheimer or something like that.
Yeah, I read a lot of really big, thick memoirs, and I do love them because I do love that, but time, we talk about it,
Right.
kids.
Time is precious.
Time is precious, a finite amount of time. Humans still need to sleep. I need to sleep. I wish I was one of those people who only needed like 5 hours of sleep. Because those people exist.
Yeah.
Those people are not me. Storyteller needs like 8 to 9 hours of sleep still. And they tell you when you get older, you don't need as much sleep. Lies! I still need all that sleep. Maybe that's why I have all this energy. But the point is that I have to sleep. So I cannot always be reading a big, gigantic, thick book. Like I have a pile you can't see down here. All these books.
Biggest
Eventually,
book in the world.
eventually, I'll get around to reading the Hamilton book that I have, that the musical is based on. I have the book. I've read Abraham Lincoln books like this. I've read so many things, but right now, I'm just going to focus on this stuff and the creation of things. And then at some point, I'll be able to read a book somewhere, maybe sitting on a beach. We'll see.
Maybe. Ooh, beach. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
The weather's a little bit frightful right now, but
Well, I wouldn't do it now.
yeah.
I'm a
So,
warm girl. It would have to be hot.
yeah, maybe maybe like summer, but if your school gets out earlier than most schools, like the beginning of summer and then nobody else is there and it's warm and it's nice, that's like the perfect beach time.
I see what you're laying down. I see the picture you're painting. I see
Yeah.
you're liking the vibe of the beach, but when it's like more solitary and to yourself and calm.
Yeah. It's just you and the waves that you're not surfing on because you don't know how.
Bingo.
Yep.
But, if you need to get out there in the waves, you could just like bob around
Yep. Just like that.
like a
Kinda like a
boo.
pigeon.
Yeah, yeah. That works for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this has been seriously so much fun. Probably one of the most fun interviews ever. And
Ever?
yeah,
You
ever.
you promise?
I promise. This has been and I like inventing words, so it has been fantastical. And it's I just I love it. You have an
We're
amazing
like
story.
Shakespeare, making up incredible words for the future.
Yeah. We create the dictionaries.
We do. I may I have permission to maybe insert that word into some readings in the future?
You do. Ooh, yeah.
See?
Yeah. We're changing the way humans speak. Pretty soon, fantastical is gonna be the next I.
Circle of inspiration, kid. Look at it.
Yeah,
Look at it. And then you give it to me, then I will say it, and then other kids will start saying it. It's gonna be a thing.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, just thank you so, so much for taking time out of your day, and we all thank you. We all have loved this interview. You have well, you have everything that we love. You have the love for literacy, you have the love of just books, and, of course, we got the cameos from your puppet friends, from our puppet friends,
Yes.
and, I mean, that's what everybody's been asking for, and, of course, learning from you as well. So,
And
yeah,
thank you
uh,
for what you do.
thank you.
Thank you for inviting me because I know that there are many, many people who want to be on your, critically acclaimed show.
Mm,
And I feel very honored to have been invited, that you found the time for me as well. I am excited to see what the future holds for you.
yeah,
And
thank you.
you do gooder. I know it's going to be good. You've already begun.
Mhm.
And I am very proud of you. Very
Well, I'm
proud
proud of you.
because what you do is not easy, and it takes a lot of love, and it takes a lot of passion, and it takes a certain belief, a push that you can make things better. So many times people think that they can't. They're just a kid, or they're just this, they're just that. There's a million reasons to believe that nothing you do will make a difference. And you are proof, as am I, that you can. One person can make a difference for so many people. And you don't have to know all the differences you make for all the people, but you just know enough to keep going. And I know that whatever your future holds, you are going to walk around life making things better everywhere you go. And I
I'll
don't think
try.
there's anything
I
better.
will.
And I know you will. And I don't think there's any finer mission than that.
All it takes is one person, one offspring technical genius to change the world.
That's it.
Mhm.
And a bunch of hungry puppets.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, that's all the time that we have, but this has been a very, 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 all the berries, very times a million fun time, and I plan to keep on watching your amazing videos, sharing amazing stories, and I just love spreading I'm gonna spread all the word about you, Storyteller. The whole world's gonna know who you are. So, until next time, everybody, stay safe, keep on reading, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye bye.
Ah!